good evening, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Honest Hour. This is episode number 52, and we're still going, we're still going. And tonight, my guest tonight is, she does a lot of different things. She sells every type of insurance policy. She knows about credit. She knows about equity. She knows about how to fix these things. She knows how she's a positive upkeeping person. She does seminars on these things, business calls, does anything else that has to do with any of these things, including uh, writing wills, consumer rights, motor vehicle issues, marriage and family, home ownership, renting, legal challenges, disputes, financial credit issues. My guest tonight is Sojourner Dre. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alive. I'm alive. We're taking it one day at a time. Doing the best we can with what we
hmm
got. I appreciate you taking time. We had to make time, just do a little later than normal. I usually do these at 8 p.m., but I was like, you know what? What's 1 hour? I ain't going to sleep anyway.
Right.
So, I'm glad you're able to come on and have a conversation about this because this is an important topic. It's a very
Appreciate you having me.
Oh, of course. It's a very important topic, because a lot of people don't understand. Um, they don't understand the importance of these things. They don't, and and I think it's important that they're talked about. So first, we just gotta get a little information on you, the person, before we deep divulge. So, where are you originally from?
So I was born in Kingston, New York, but I am from Newburgh, raised in Newburgh, originally from Newburgh. The
Okay.
birthplace is just Kingston, New York.
Oh, so yeah, that's like me. I was born in Poughkeepsie and then I moved to Newburgh like a
Yep,
month old, and it was just.
completely Newburgh.
And what's your experience in Newburgh like?
So my experience in Newburgh, I'm not gonna say it was rough, but it takes a special person to see the positive. When people hear about Newburgh, they only think of the negative things that happen in Newburgh. But
Hmm.
being in Newburgh, the longer you're here, you start to really realize the positive things that happen here, the positive people that are actually here. And as we get older, there's more people making a difference compared to what they're used to. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I love Newburgh, and I always say, no matter where I go, I'm wearing Newburgh on my back. I do not
Mhm.
care. I do not care. Do not come for Newburgh.
Yeah, like people be like, "Yo, I don't go to Newburgh. It's not good there." I'm like, "Have
Right.
you ever been there?" They're
Yeah,
like, "Well,
right.
I've heard." I'm like, "You've heard? That's
Yeah.
it. You haven't seen."
Yeah,
There's
you
a,
have to get to know us because it's really like I love it, you know.
so much talent in Newburgh, so many
Definitely.
skills, and I think it's important that we look into these things and go around and help one another because we're all we got.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I do see I see a major turnaround in that. Like we're all reaching out to each other and we're starting to intermingle with each other and do greater things and not just for ourselves. We tend to have been thinking more about the youth that are coming up in Newburgh. And that is
Mhm.
what I have began to actually admire about, our generation specifically, because we're initiating that change. So I'm super proud for it. And shout out to everybody that has something to do with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just posted this video into the group. Uh,
Hmm.
the solutions there, so we can get some eyes in the room.
Yeah, right.
So growing up, what were some of your interests or hobbies?
So growing up, I did dance from the ages of 3 to I'm gonna say 17 because once I got to high school, I was on the dance team. We had our own dance team. So I did that. And then from ages 3 to 14, I did ballet, tap, jazz. Um, Getting out of high school, I did volleyball, and I did, I played basketball for fun. I was a little tomboy. But yeah, I'm intermingled with like a little bit of everything. So
Okay.
those were my mains though.
And what was your family like? Your mom, dad, like,
My dad, I think I got my hustle from my dad. Like I got my I'm going to make something out of nothing, the humbleness that I got from my mom, I'm going to give her a big shout out for that because she's just so humble and I appreciate everything. She's a people person. Um she's sweet. So I get a little bit of characteristics from each, and that created me. So
and there's nothing wrong with that.
right.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I am the youngest out of six. So I am the baby girl of the family.
Man, and how many before you were boys and girls?
Okay, so there's five girls and one boy.
Oh, geez, and where's he fall in the mix?
The oldest.
Oh, well, man,
Right.
five to torture him after.
Yep. The oldest. So, and then I'm the baby. Everybody, are you okay? No, you can't do that. So I'm used to everybody, coming after me.
Yeah, like, what you coming at my head for?
Yeah, right.
Like, what did I do? Like,
Hmm.
So, as I told you, I like to play this game that everyone either loves or hates.
Hmm.
It's called Honest Picks. I'm going to give you two artists, and you tell me which one you like based on personal preference. There's
Oh,
no.
goodness. Okay. Are they celebrities?
Yep, yep. This is
Okay.
mostly R&B artists. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I'm going to go with TLC or
Hmm.
In Vogue.
TLC. I'm gonna say TLC.
Escape or SWV.
SWV.
Jill Scott or Erica Badu.
Ooh. Personal preference, right?
It's personal preference.
See, now Jill Scott has them different type of vocals, but the Erica Badu has the sassiness and the style. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna go with Erica Badu.
Okay. Brandy or Monica?
Ooh, they're getting harder. Um, I'm gonna go with Monica.
Mary J. Blige or Mariah Carey?
Mary,
Shaka Khan or Sade?
Sade. I'm gonna go with Sade.
Beyonce or Aaliyah?
Aaliyah.
Jodeci or Tony?
Jodeci.
Earth, Wind, and Fire or New Edition?
Ooh, ooh, man. Earth, Wind, and Fire, because that they could get down with anybody. You could bring that anywhere. I'm gonna go with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Babyface or Keith Sweat?
Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat.
112 or Jagged Edge?
Jagged Edge.
Joe or John Legend?
John Legend.
Neo or The Weeknd?
Ooh, Neo. I love me some Neo. Yeah, Neo.
Donnell Jones or Music Soul Child?
Music Soul Child.
Chris Brown or Usher?
Chris Breezy. I gotta go with Chris Breezy. It ain't fair if I don't.
Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder?
Now I'm in a real hot seat. Stevie Wonder.
Whitney Houston or Aretha Franklin?
Dang. Dang, these comparisons. I'm not expecting these. Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin, because she demanded that respect.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Quickness. Tupac or DMX?
mm. DMX. DMX, y'all. DMX.
Rakim or KRS-One?
Rakim.
Big Daddy Kane or LL Cool J?
LL Cool J.
Nas or Busta Rhymes?
Nas. I love the positivity that he brings to the table. Nas.
Okay, okay. Ghostface Killer or Method Man?
Method Man.
J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
Oh man, Mike. J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar? I'm gonna have to go with J. Cole. I'm gonna
Okay.
have to go with J. Cole.
Jadakiss or Scarface?
Jadakiss.
Eve or Missy? He looks stressed.
Cause this I am. A lot of these are stressing me out. Eve.
Listen, I had
Eve.
you know Hood Soul Ahmad.
No.
Yeah, no, he's like he's a hip hop artist and a
Mhm.
farmer. He's a big dude. He's cool dude.
Yeah.
Love that brother. I asked him Biggie or Tupac. The first one, his head looked like he's ready to explode.
Yeah, because that's so hard. Like they're like on the same level. Like, oh my gosh. Wait, are
Oh,
you about to ask me that?
huh?
Yeah,
What?
are you Biggie or Tupac?
Well, now you got to answer it
Oh
because you.
man. Oh, oh man. I can't. I can't.
You can
I'm
pick both
not gonna
if you
play.
don't
I
know.
can't. I don't know.
You can say both if you don't
Okay,
know.
both. Yes, we're gonna go with both.
MC Light or Lauren Hill?
Lauryn Hill,
Lil Kim or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj,
Outkast or A Tribe Called Quest?
Outkast,
Pete Rock and CL Smooth or Eric B and Rakim?
Eric B and Rakim.
The Locks or G Unit?
Who was I going for during the verses? I think I was going for the Locks. I was going no. I'm sorry, 50. I was going for G Unit.
If Iggy come after
G Unit.
nah, no. Biggie or Jay-Z? That'll be the last one.
Biggie. Biggie.
You did good. Listen, sometimes I can't even.
A lot of them are really hard.
I can't. Sometimes I can't even get through that game. Like
Yeah.
I'll have to cut some out because like people be like, "Yo, this ain't right." Like I think my most notable reactions were I had Lady Miz on here, and she was like, "You trying to get me killed, Mike?"
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
I
like, dang.
I had Mariah Henry on here, and her mama was cursing at me in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, Hood Soul's always like, bro.
Yeah,
But
a lot of those are really hard.
when the calendar flips,
Uh-huh.
the show's gonna be different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually gonna change that logic, that format, and I'm gonna make it albums instead to make it harder.
Yeah, you're gonna do a lot with that. That's gonna be really hard.
Oh yeah, like pitting two albums
Yeah,
against each
artists
other.
are one thing, but albums.
Oh yeah, people are really. You think like I'm inviting guests back, and they're like, no, we're not playing that game
We're not
again. I'm
doing
like,
that.
oh, we're playing, we're playing.
We're not doing that.
We're gonna play. You might not like it, but we're playing.
That's definitely a hot seat game.
Absolutely. So what encouraged you to have the desire to start selling life insurance?
So to be transparent, I'm going to say this was like God sent. I swear I think God sent this to me
Mhm.
because once I got my foot in the door, I'm like I didn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? But as I learned more and more about it, I'm like, wow, this really relates to my life. Like I
Mhm.
there were things that happened around me that if the knowledge was there, a lot of things could have been avoided. So I was like, I know if this happened to me, this is happening to tons of other families. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I want to do this for people. I want to do this for other families so that they can at least try to avoid or fix anything before anything occurs.
Mm.
So that's what led me to it. And I'm like, I'm gonna do everything that I can to teach and to bring attention to everyone and just let them know, like, listen, this isn't just a dollar, this isn't just someone making a dollar. This is someone like actually trying to show you that this is valuable information, not only valuable information, but things every family should have in place and consider.
Absolutely. I heard something not so long ago, and it sits with me. It sits with me that people will insure their phones, but not their.
Mm-hmm.
It's like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Their
crazy,
cars, their phones.
and
Shoot,
it's
their
crazy.
jewelry.
I don't per se outside of that policy. I don't have that. I told you off air. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
another one, so it's kind of just like also trying to, trying to get the financial part because even though like it's not it's not an inexpensive thing either.
It's
and
not.
i and I think with this day and age that's a part of the issue is that okay people like like they'll say all right well you have to have car insurance right or you can't register
Mm-hmm.
a vehicle. Like people understand that now with their phones you do so much it's like whatever it'll just
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw that $18. But life
Right.
insurance is, for a good policies in the upward 100, $200 mark. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's every month. So it's like, where do you create that income? Like if you're not making six figures, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're not making a comfortable amount. But then then it looks like damn, if something were to happen to my spouse or my child, it's like, damn, now like you lose like primarily let's just use your spouse. You lose your spouse, well, you lose their income as well.
Mm-hmm.
You lose your person, you lose their income, and now you still have to figure it out. Like full circle moment, there this year at my job, one of our guys on our seniority list died.
Mm-hmm.
He had cancer. Um, his wife is one of our supervisors, and they got married so she could collect all his life insurance and his pension
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't want to get married, but he married her so she could
So
collect
that.
all that stuff. Then we had another guy, a driver, Jimmy Cromwell. His wife just died. Like they went to
Wow.
sleep. Good night, love you. He
Yeah,
woke
you
up,
never know.
went to kiss her goodbye before he went to work, and he noticed she wasn't breathing. Called an ambulance, and she died in her sleep.
Wow.
And then another guy, Mike Bradish, his son, only son, died in a car accident like 3 days after Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
So what? So like, needless to say, is like anything can happen to anyone at any time,
And we never know.
and you never know. You're not gonna know it's coming. You're not gonna see it's coming. You just not gonna be here.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I I'm sorry. I do grant it. It is kind of a hard conversation to have between a lot of people because they're thinking about the taboo view of it. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
if we just think about it as protection, all right? If you have children and you think about your children and think about the bills that will still be here when you're not, then that should make it the conversation a lot easier for people to have because it's going to happen to all of us eventually. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely. And I think what it is too is that people have to understand. People don't want to talk about death, right?
mhm,
Like, it's like it's one of those things that's not comfortable for
right.
people. Unfortunately, it's the truth.
Mhm.
And when we have those conversations, it's people feel like to your point, taboo. It's like, well, we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to die. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's about protection in the event that you do.
Mhm.
Oh, it's the same thing with like health insurance.
Yeah.
You know, people will not, if they don't can't afford the insurance, they will not go to that doctor.
At all.
Not not realizing that the law requires them to help you whether you have insurance or not. But people are so worried about, once again, the
That
financial
will.
part of it. That's where we get lost. Is it's just like we're so worried about money, like
Mhm.
and but in the end, look what we do. I've been told I have 12 jobs. Like
Mhm.
like I do this show, and I do the security thing, and then I do the I'm an ordained minister. I do all this different stuff in hopes to just find a way to make money, you
Mhm.
know?
We all do. We all
Absolutely.
and one thing I did learn is you can make there's ways you can make your money work for you. We don't all have to go home. I'm just going to say go home to make it sound good. Go home working our butts off
Hmm.
until there's no end. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
so that's why I do feel like financial education is very important. And because listen, a lot of the richest people, they're not working, they're not taking five extra shifts a week to make ends meet. You know what I mean? They got knowledge and they put it into action. So there's definitely ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some things about life insurance um, that people need to understand?
People definitely need to understand that it's not always as expensive as you think. There is a price gap between the two different policies. There are two different policies, whole life and term, but it's not that expensive. If we can go out on the weekend and spend $200 for a VIP section, you can also spend $50 a month to pay for your insurance policy to make sure your income is protected. God forbid you're not able to make it home that night. You know what I mean? Whether it's those pair of sneakers that just came out on Saturday that were also over $100, you can
Mhm.
pay $50 for that policy. So it really just depends on what you're willing to do. It depends on what really matters to you. So, I like I said, I never force anybody to grasp the importance of it, but I'm still going to teach it and I'm still going to try to put it in people's heads how important it is.
Um, what are so outside of the stuff we named?
Mhm.
What are some other things about life insurance that are important?
The protection, the fact that even if even if your income isn't $200,000 a year, you're able to still pass that on to your children and still not pay that much for it to be passed on to your children.
Hmm.
The fact that you are able to add a account with that, add on your personal account as well as grow your money with that, and also have extra income aside from your policy to pass on to your children. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different aspects to it. It's
And those are things people don't know. People
mhm.
don't understand. And how many policies can you have?
You can have more than one. You can definitely have more than one, you know what I mean? So say you can definitely stack your insurance. If you want to do one policy for 30 years for your mortgage, you can do that, and then you could create another policy for your children's college fund. You can also do that. And that's to protect your children's college fund, to make sure they're able to go to college, and that is to protect your mortgage. God forbid anything happens to you, your mortgage will be protected.
So wait, let's rewind because
Mhm.
that that's confusing to me personally.
Mhm.
So if I you could take out a life insurance policy on your mortgage.
No. So, say every insurance policy should have your living expenses included. So, say you make $1,200 a month. Your life insurance policy should always have 10 to 12 times your income included into that policy, which is normal. You know, some people get $1 million policies, some people get $500,000 policies. It all depends on the person. That's what a financial plan comes into place, because you're able to figure that out. So, if you have your mortgage into that policy along with your 10 to 12 times earnings, that will also be passed down to your children to make sure your mortgage is paid off if something happens to you.
Oh wow. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of them suffering the burden of that expense
Mm-hmm.
having to come from there, it's already taken
It's
care of.
already included into your policy because you took the initiative to calculate how many years it will take for your mortgage to be paid off and how much money you will need. And all of that money is already in your policy, ready to be paid paid for your house with.
Wow. And how does it work with the college fund?
So you
Of
can also open up, if you decide you want to do college expenses, if you want, you can open up a 20-year term. Say your children are going to be in college in 20 years, but you already have a 30-year policy. If you do that 20-year policy, you can make sure that can cover the amount of the college expenses for your children.
mm. Now, if you have a 30-year policy and you does that mean you're saying you're going to die in 30 years?
No, that means that your policy will last for 30 years.
So what happens if that 30 years runs out?
So you can renew that. And the game changer is you can open up your own Roth IRA. All right. So that the goal really is, when I do my policies, the goal really is to rent the money until you own the money.
Okay.
That's where Roth IRA comes in. That's where your savings come in. So say everybody should have a savings account, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we have our typical bank, when we have our typical savings account, our money is just sitting there. It's sitting there,
Right.
not gaining value. But every day we're dealing with inflation. So as we're dealing with inflation, our money is losing value technically because it's not growing. It's just sitting there, right?
Mm.
So when we put it into a Roth IRA, what does it do then? It grows. When we put it into a mutual fund account, what does it do? It grows over time. And that's if you invest it into 6%, 9%, or 12%.
And that's the amount 6, 9, or 12. That's
Those
the
are the interest rates. Those are the compound interest rates.
so and that's what they're contributing those rates, the interest rates, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a bank, but they don't give you real
But then
interest.
the banks will give you probably 0.1%.
They give you like 8 cents.
Yeah, and that's like half of a nickel. They'll
Yeah,
give you.
like like what the yeah, I'd be like,
Half
yo,
of a
yeah.
nickel.
Like I think my last was 3 cents. I was like,
Yes,
what are you doing 3 cents?
right. Thank you.
I'm all for any pension and like every dollar and penny counts, but it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, this ain't it.
Yeah, like I save my coins too. Like I'm the type, if I see a penny on the street, I'm going to pick it up. You know what I mean? Because that could be the one more penny I need to make my other 99 pennies a dollar. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So
Exactly.
I,
Exactly.
that's me.
So, um, okay. Wait, did I ask? Yeah, I did ask reasons why people don't. other reasons you think people don't get life insurance? I asked that question, didn't I?
No, I think you just asked why people you asked I think why people overlook it or why
Yeah.
people yeah. I believe they don't get it because it's not taught. Like I said with my family personally, it wasn't taught. My grandparents, they did not have the knowledge. Yes, they had insurance through their job, but little did they know, God forbid, if anything, they would only get the payout if something happens to them while they're on the job.
Like
And
if
we're
something
not
happened to
educated.
them while at work.
While at work.
Oh, so like if they left the parking lot and got hit,
Yeah.
nothing. But if they're at work and a machine falls on them, kills them, they get the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what they don't tell you. And that's what I'm here for, to tell the world.
While we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think like I said, I think it's the money, because like even that, and just like you said, the knowledge. People
Mhm.
aren't knowledgeable on this stuff. They're not. And when you don't have the knowledge, it's like, okay, it don't matter to some
Mhm.
people, but it's important. It's
It
very
definitely
important to,
is.
to have the knowledge to put forth
Mhm.
so that you can get what you need in that event. And even the extra knowledge you just dropped with, I didn't know you could do any of that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know you could insure your house and,
Yeah.
excuse me, and insure college for your children, because that's the other side of it. Because we like you said, we deal with inflation every day, and when
Mhm.
it comes to inflation, it's kind of like now, like I look at my stepson. He didn't do the college thing; it wasn't for him. My stepdaughter hasn't same on the same path. What like my next one is Brenda. Brenda's 13, and she's
Mhm.
very very adamant about going to college. Very
Good.
adamant, keeping her head on her shoulders. She's very talented in a lot of things that she does. But I want to ensure that she can do that.
Mhm.
She can achieve that. If she wants to go and become a veterinarian, which she's been talking about since she was like 5,
Mhm.
make sure she's got the leeway to do it.
All
So
of
that's
that should always be included because it all matters, no matter
absolutely.
how big or how small. Like I tell everybody, write a list of things that you're spending money on, from groceries to clothes to cable, a list of everything, because everything that should all be included.
Absolutely. And because now, like, it's people understand that you have to keep a track, especially in this day and age of entrepreneurship and things like that, and
Mhm.
configuring how to put all these things together. Because now people will spend money on things, and you got to figure out how to make those things tax deductible, so that
Mhm.
you're seeing the reciprocation of that. Because if you
Right.
spend money, it's a tax write off if it's for your business.
Yep.
And that's just the knowledge of just learning business 101. Like
Mhm.
as I'm, it's just like, okay.
That's what a
And
lot of people don't know.
yeah.
Donations, anything, even if you got, this is, I don't know if anybody's watching, this is to the audience. If you guys donate anything to Goodwill, ask for a receipt. That's
Hmm.
a tax write-off. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't care how small it is, a tax write-off. So
And
listen.
that's what we have to do. Is I think that we need for, and this is just in general, but I think one of the things I think needs to be done is a seminar of some sort to bring knowledge on these things, because there's not enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough, and I think that people have to understand that what really is at risk by not having it. I'm sure Ralph, Mr. Mavor, and
Mm-hmm.
he does these every year. He started doing these Mavor weeks, and he does like a network and like mingle, but he has
I love
speakers.
that.
And like the first year he had Prince Brock there speaking about the same things you're speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
He had he had Remedy there speaking about how to start an LLC, and then he had Nicole Gonzalez there. She was talking about websites and really how to orchestrate a business. And I think we need to wrap back around when he's ready to
Definitely.
and see
Definitely.
if you can get a spot there to talk about this. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I think even before that, we should set up some kind of seminar.
We definitely can. I have it in the plans. I wanted to start off with the children. I have a little workshop that I want to do with the children. I'm actually going to do that after the new no after Christmas, so
Okay.
that it can kind of tie into New Year's resolution, something new that the children can learn. You know what I mean? Because over the summer, I did see a lot of children making their own money, and I loved to see it. So I just want to keep that going. And then right after that, I definitely have a workshop free for
Yeah.
adults so that we can all get this knowledge and be knowledgeable and take action on what's really important.
Right, because I think it's important to know these things, and I think people, like you said, they don't have the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge or the tools to really understand it. So the next question is how. So now, how do we? Because it takes a village. Can't do it on your own, as I say.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
People to start thinking about life insurance? How do we get them to say, to your point, in your opinion, from saying, okay, I'm gonna go get these Jordans. Like me, I'm not a sneaker person, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just really not my thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there are certain people they got 100 pairs,
Every year.
100 pairs of sneakers. They're stylish. You know, I got like 6 pairs. I'm good. Every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, I treat myself to a nice pair. Shout out to my guy, Sneaker Teacher. He's the connect for sneakers.
Okay.
He'll be on the show Thursday to talk about that. Um, so but like, how do we get people to say, okay? Because all right, let me put you this way. I know I spend X amount on stuff I don't need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm trying to rearrange my spending habits a bit because I do that. I got video games and headphones, all this different stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I know what I can control. Some people don't know how to do that. So how do we get people to start thinking about life insurance and acting on getting it?
Storytelling and being relatable.
Mm,
I believe that when people see that you're able to relate to certain things, they understand you more and they're more willing to hear you and they're
mhm.
more willing to understand what you're saying. Whether they make that decision or not, you never know. They may walk away and say no, but the next day your voice might be mingling through their head and they're like, "Oh shoot." They might wake up the next day and they're like, "Yeah, this is important. These sneakers aren't going to be here in 30 years, but my children are. These bills are. My house is." So, you can't really grab nobody you can't grab nobody by the shirt and say, "Hey, do this." But I go through storytelling and being relatable because I was in a position to where I did not have the knowledge, and as a child, I seen it happen to my family. So I always tell that story to share like, "Listen, it's not a joke. You could lose a lot. It's not a joke."
Yeah, yeah, because if you don't have the knowledge is power, right?
Mhm.
Like knowledge is power to a T. And if we don't have the knowledge to be better, how do we to improve ourselves? How do we get there? How do
Right.
we become who we were meant to be?
Right.
And I think, like we said before, it's all about feeding off one another. I think actually, now that I think about it, I know I'm going to forget to say this if I don't say it now. I actually do these. I go to these men's breakfasts. It's
Hmm.
on the second Saturday of each month,
Yes, I
and
keep missing it. I keep missing the women's.
the women's is the same one.
Yes.
I think it's one you should join. I think the next one's January 11th. I want to say
Okay. Shout out to conversation over chess tables. Chess conversation over chess tables.
he's conversation over chess. Yep,
Yes.
yep. He's the one who will be producing this show starting in the new year. So
Yes. Shout out.
to Elijah, Mr. Wells. Yeah, it's January 11th is the next one.
Okay.
Um, and that's gonna what we started doing is we were talking, and eventually we're like, eventually you got to put the men and the women together and kind of just dwell off of one another. So that one's gonna be in February. So we're gonna start doing one like just men, just women, one together, and then flip flop it. You
Hmm.
know, because it's important. It's important to network and teamwork make the dream work.
Definitely.
Well,
Definitely.
I like that. I'm
And
gonna
we
have to
have to do it for our younger ones.
you know,
You know,
you know,
we grew up not seeing a lot of us own a lot. So I also think that's another thing. It's time for us to be the boss of our environment.
yes,
It's time for us
absolutely,
to run things.
absolutely, and not take no for an answer.
Hmm.
Oh, excuse me. So, what are the different types of life insurance policies?
So there's two different types. There's term policy and there's whole life, aka cash value.
Okay, and what are the difference between the two?
So the difference, I would say, I'll start with cash value. Cash value is usually more expensive than a term. Um, People usually buy cash value because it's advertised as, hey, when you get this policy, you'll also be putting into your cash value and that'll grow over time. What I have noticed and what I have witnessed is when people go to call to check on their cash value or take out their cash value because an emergency happened, they either don't have what they think they have, or when they want to borrow, they won't have a policy anymore.
Okay, so if you borrow money from it, they cancel your policy.
They'll hand you a surrender form and you'll
So,
have to sign it.
so what's the point of the cash value if it's going to cancel out?
That's why I always say keep your policy and your savings separate. That's why when I mentioned the term policy, I mentioned the Roth IRA and the mutual accounts because those are in your name. You should never keep that stuff paired because they're two different entities. They're two different. Cash value is for protection. Mutual and Roth IRAs are for savings and for retirement and for, the
Right.
policy is for protection. God forbid
Right.
anything happens.
Yeah. So, but I just don't understand why you would take the money out if that's the
But a lot of
you know
people sometimes they like, okay, you never know. You might have an emergency arise. That's your savings account still. You're looking at your cash value account as your savings account. So say
right.
your water heater breaks. Your water heater breaks. That's very important in your house, right? So you're like,
Hmm.
hey, we have cash in our policy. Let's go get it. You go to your agent and they're like, yeah, you could take it, but you'll have to surrender your policy. And
And then
that's what a lot of people don't know until it's time to do it.
oh, and now you're caught between a rock and a hard place because
Yes.
it's like okay, it's either you take out this money and get what you need done,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't take it out
Figure out another way.
and figure out another way to do things. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, that 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 makes sense. That makes sense. to me. But people don't, like you said, once again, people don't know that. And a lot of times in that world, um, it's commission based. So, agents are just trying to get people to sign on the line and
Yep.
not so much care about the people, not knowing that, and a lot of times too, what these agents don't realize either is that they give you that money up front, most of it, you know,
Mhm.
75%, right?
Mhm.
Roughly. And then you get the last 25 on the back end of that first year.
Mhm.
So it's if you sign me up for a policy and I cancel that policy, you're gonna have to pay that money back.
Yep.
So if the agent is giving bad information, they're
It'll
really
backfire.
only
When an
picking.
agent like me comes into play, it's going to backfire because I'm going to tell it all.
Yeah,
We're going to call you up together.
yeah. Like yo, like listen, homie, this
Mhm.
ain't happening. You
Mhm.
know, you got to do what you have to do. But we get it. We get that. So, of the two policies that are offered, which one is the better policy to have?
So I'm going to say it depends on the person. I'll never put one policy over another because there's pros and cons to everything. Like eventually a term policy can expire, but it's up to you if you want to renew it. Maybe you have enough money in your mutual account or your Roth IRA to substitute your term policy and you won't need it anymore. Some people get whole policies. It's way more expensive, but maybe that's just what they prefer. You know what I mean? Maybe they know the terms of a whole life policy. They know that they may have to surrender their policy if they ever have to take out a loan on it. It depends on the situation. It depends on the person. But I aim to help middle class because we're a lot of us don't know. So I'm going to go with term because I aim to educate on that because a lot of people are not completely educated on the whole life.
Right.
And I feel like it's more of a win situation with everything in your name other than it being combined. And it's cheaper, more
Absolutely.
affordable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because like you said, it depends on the person and what they're able to do, what works better for their lifestyle, if what have you.
Mhm.
And everyone's different. If we were all the same, the world would
Mhm.
be. So now, you do a lot of other things besides the life insurance. So how did this open up other avenues for you?
It allowed me to just be communicated with more people. It allowed me to meet more people. Get grasp of other industries and even be relatable to other industries like credit. Like I have friends in credit, and then like we can all come together and like teach everybody what they don't know. Taxes, I call my taxes, I call my friends taxes. And then I have and then I have my credit sisters, and then like we just come together, and we do plan to do that for the new year, come together and just give knowledge on this stuff.
Hmm.
So, and then people like you, Mike,
Hmm.
doing the big giving us a platform to speak and share it and educate your audience, and you're giving us the stage for it, and I appreciate you. I'm going to say it for me and everybody else. We appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate that. It's all about bringing that attention. Like I said, we have to have these platforms like this because
Mm-hmm.
you got your people out there who do this and that, and they want to talk about always talk about the celebrity stuff. But I have a core common responsibility to have these conversations as well,
Mm-hmm.
and have have these things where it's like, okay, we need to fix these things. We
Mhm.
need to be better. We
Mhm.
we need to bring attention. Like I'm planning an episode next month with a friend who's had a hard life. You know,
Right.
and I feel like her story can empower women.
Definitely.
So just her journey, and I want to know about it, and I want people to hear it.
Mhm.
So, like it's all about giving different aspects, because if it touches one person and changes their life, that's a success to me.
You don't know who you can become an asset to. You don't
Hmm.
know whose life you can save just by sharing your story. Sometimes
Hmm.
that's all people need to hear is your story and how you got past and overcame it.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely. So this isn't on the list, but I seen something
know?
earlier that you posted,
Mhm.
and I just want you to elaborate a little bit on the difference, on why this status is important.
Mhm.
You wrote 1995. There's four
Mhm.
bulletproof. Get a degree, get a nine to
Mhm.
five, get a suit and tie, get a promotion.
Mhm.
2025, learn speaking, learn writing, learn sales, learn marketing. Everything else is noise.
Mhm.
That's very powerful because, you know, 1995, that made sense. But for you, this specific post, why why is that post important? Like what
Because
do people need to take away from that post that's not of the obvious?
because around that time we were taught go to work, go to school, you'll you'll have the best life. You'll live the American dream. Um a lot of people did that and they were not able to get the American dream that they were promised.
Hmm.
Now that it's 2025, we've actually seen proof that if we kind of go a different route and learn skills, it will get us a lot further. Speaking is very important because you have to know how to speak to people. You have to know how to articulate things. Eye contact, body language, all of that goes into play when you're speaking with people. All of the successful people that you see have those skills.
Mm.
Writing, that's also very important because if you can't write, you won't be able to really communicate over paper. You probably won't be able to write out a plan. You probably like there's a lot of things that include writing. And then I'm sorry, what was the last one?
uh, learn sales, learn marketing.
Okay. And in sales and marketing, there's tons of ways on the internet, even physically, tons and tons of ways that this generation has come across to make money. There are 17-year-olds making six figures, y'all.
Hmm.
17-year-olds are now making six figures in 2025. And that's because they have obtained all of those skills.
Mm. And it's crazy because you really, it's really the truth that you can put anything, do anything, you put your mind to.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to have that capability now, because I look at things like I told you, my daughter wants to go to college, but it ain't always these days. I feel like that's more of the wrong move, unless you're like, for what she wants to do is the right thing you need to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
If she wants to be a veterinarian, she needs to. But if you're
Right.
not going to be a doctor or a lawyer, like
Mm-hmm.
now you don't need to go to school for business.
Right. You sure
Like
don't.
you can, like, I learn that every day through people like you and people like Elijah and people like Moochie and Lady Miz. Like I learn from everyone. And then
Mm-hmm.
most people are all right or open about, all right, this is what I did. This was the blueprint
Mm-hmm.
to getting to where I am now. And it's
Mm-hmm.
all about putting in the work, putting in the effort,
Mm-hmm.
and really just understand, putting understanding onto these things,
Right.
because no one, people, like you said, people don't understand them. So I had asked you, how does selling life insurance open other avenues? Does that include selling other forms of insurance that aren't life insurance?
Yes. One of my favorites are legal insurance. Why is that my favorite? You may ask. Because
That was the next question.
we were also we were also taught to we will not be able to be defended in court unless we have thousands of dollars to give a lawyer. It's affordable, and like I said, I work for my middle class. Everything that I offer is affordable, and this is stuff that we need. This isn't stuff that we want. This is stuff that we need. Like, they cover traffic tickets, they cover family court, they cover wills and estates, which also can go with life insurance. Like, you have like consumer rights, you have access to all of these things, and you have access to lawyers who are willing to write up things for you to send out. Things that you probably can't do, you can call that lawyer to do, and that's starting at $25 a month. You can't beat that, because if you go to a lawyer and ask for a representation for a traffic ticket, I don't know how much they will probably charge you, but it's not $25 a month.
No, no. That's like that $25 is like for 3 minutes.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You could get a yes or a no.
Like like it's just like my dad used to say, we would have plumbing issues, and he would do plumbing, but like certain jobs he wouldn't know how, he wouldn't want to do or whatever. And I'd be like, well, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta do it. Because guess what? They come out just to do this, $65.
Yep.
Just to knock on a door.
Just for showing up.
Just that's
Mhm.
not looking at anything. That's just to
Yep.
come to your estate, your house.
Mm-hmm.
So the legal protection plan, that's what's written here. As
Yes.
just named most of that. I got the bullet points of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing that I don't have, and this is important, very important, is a will. And that kind of goes with life insurance, but please explain to the audience and to me, um, how do you create a will, and what's the importance of one, and what happens to your assets if you don't have one?
Okay. So a will is a legal document. Okay. It's a legal document, and it shares all of your wishes legally to your heirs, to your remaining heirs, to your remaining family, your spouse. All right. If you do not have a will, it will take Lord knows how long for things to plan out. There's a chance that family can start going back and forth because one family member won't sign off one estate, or one family member's fighting another family member because they want your car. Things happen, all right? And it's an emotional time. That's for every single family. It's a very emotional time. A will is set in place to make it easier to be able to initiate your wishes in a very timely manner and respectful manner for your family. If you do not have it, chaos can, families usually go their separate ways, and they separate over material things that could have maybe been handled if either knowledge was in place or if the right steps were happening.
Mm. Yeah, because if you don't have a will, it's like, uh-oh. It's like,
Yeah,
now
it's
what?
like now we're all looking at each other like, yeah, I'm about to get this. Oh no, I'm getting this, and then it becomes like, it becomes entitlement. It becomes, it's just a lot. And I don't
Right.
wish that on no family, because that's the time where families need to stick together, not be fighting over who gets what.
And and that's the sad thing is that people will fight over that. Like at that point, it's just like, all right, well, I want this, I
Mm-hmm.
want that, but I want that, I want this, and it's just like there's more important things than these material things. We lost a person, but yet
Right.
we're fighting material items.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, unfortunately, that's how my family is. When my grandmother passes away, it's going to be a nightmare. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be horrific, and there is a will, and it's still going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just how they are,
And
you
it's very
know.
unfortunate that,
Right?
like, I just, whew.
Like that's my dad's side. My mom's side, quick story. So I don't know, maybe like now, Jesus, 12, about I want to say like 15 years at most now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my mom had found out that my grandfather, who's been dead since like 2007,
Mm-hmm.
he had a life insurance policy that he never told anyone about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So my mom was trying to see who was on the policy. It was her, my uncle, um, and his three sons were on this policy.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, all right. So so now everyone's just like, oh, hold on. I had a question in the comments. Do they do estate planning?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay. If she's not still there, I will make sure I message her and after. So yeah, we found out that we have there's this policy. All right, whatever. So like my mom, my cousins claim that my mom was trying to like take their socials and verify. I don't believe that. So they kind of got like disrespectful. So my uncle had three sons, and me and the youngest son were like real close. So I call him up
Mm-hmm.
one day, and we're having a conversation, and I'm trying to get the facts. And then he says to me, "Oh well, your name's not on the policy. It says Fred Page Senior, Fred Page Junior, Josh Page, Jason Page, Denise Carpenter, Leon Carpenter, no Michael Williams." And so then I kind of took a low blow, and I said, "Well, he's not even your paternal grandfather."
Mm-hmm.
Because my grandfather had a different,
Right.
or they have a different. My grandmother was married before my grand. I said, so I'm more entitled to that than you are
Mm-hmm.
in reality.
And yeah, biological.
Maybe legally, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're on. Just take a guess, so how much money that policy was for after my mom figured everything out.
Well, I'm assuming everything was split in between those people.
Yep,
Everybody got a certain portion, and it
yep.
probably wasn't that much.
Nope. You had to guess.
Um, 5,000.
Take 4,000 away.
What?
My mom sent everyone a check for $166.66. And now the family don't talk.
All of
Like
all over that.
there was issues already, but that just threw it over. That just
Mm-hmm.
threw it over. Like we have not spoken. And everyone's still. Well, the older brother lives in Florida, but the middle brother lives in Marlboro.
Mm-hmm.
Younger brother lives in Marlboro.
Mm-hmm.
The mother, actually, I think the mother moved to Florida, but she was in Newburgh for a long time, and no one has spoken in 15
Wow.
years over. a check that they needed for $166.66.
And that goes to show money is not everything. Money is not worth family. Money is not, money's good. Like, we live off of it. It's, it makes things happen. But in reality, you know, we need each other for real. You know what I mean?
Right.
So all over that is I can say it wouldn't be worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. So, other things that's covered under this plan, what are consumer rights?
Consumer rights are, if you go, say you go to a hair salon
Okay.
and they do something with your hair and it all falls out.
Hmm.
They will help you deal with that. They will write the proper forms, they will write the proper letters, and they will help you put everything in place to handle what needs to be handled.
Oh, okay. 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 So, pretty much it's in the effect that's something, if something happens to you based off of a service, you have
If you,
protection.
yep, if you fall at a store, things that just happen to where
Oh,
you're a customer, like to where you're receiving services.
so what kind of motor vehicle issues are covered under that?
Traffic, like traffic tickets, like I was explaining, suspension, license suspensions, um, if you need anything related to motor vehicle accidents,
Hmm.
anything related to motor vehicles specifically, they do help you with that.
Okay. Okay. Marriage and family.
Child support, divorce, adoption, um, things of that nature. Just family support, basically. Anything involving family,
Child support. Every
marriage,
man
you know.
worst. Absolutely.
Right.
Every man's worst nightmare.
Yes.
That's
Yes. But y'all know
another.
I'm here
That's
to
a
help.
listen. I would love to get got mine, but that's another story for off the camera. Home ownership and renting a home.
hmm If you're having
Well,
problems with your landlord, if you're a tenant and you're having problems with your landlord isn't really doing what they're supposed to be doing. You can call them up and say, "Hey, is this right?" You can ask a question. You could file a complaint, whatever you may have. When it comes to homes, if you buy a home and you notice something was not shared with you that was important, like, in other words, bad pipes, I'm just going to use that for an example. You buy a new home and you realize the piping is horrible and that was not explained to you during the process. You can call them up. Hey, was am I bugging, or do I
yeah,
have a case?
yeah,
Like, you know
like
what I mean?
help
So
me out here. Legal challenges and disputes.
that can be anything with your credit. That can be anything with your bank account. Anything of that nature.
Oh, okay, okay.
Disputing anything that saying that you owed something, you can ask them, like, is this right? If you get a bill, um, anything of that nature.
Financial and credit issues. Does that kind of fall under the same
Yeah, that
thing?
kind of falls into the same thing.
Okay, okay. So another thing is, what's the importance of having a retirement? Um, you
Very.
know, people don't understand that, and what's the differences between a 401k and an IRA?
Mm-hmm. So a 401k, usually your employer is actually distributing you funds through your 401k. So they're helping you grow while you work. Roth IRA, you that's your money. You can roll over. Say you quit a job, right? Or say you don't quit or you just leave the job, get fired, anything. If you still have that 401k in place, you can actually roll that over into your Roth IRA, which a lot of people, I was actually just talking to somebody yesterday. She still has a 401k at her old job. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, why didn't you roll this over yet? Like you could be
Yes.
starting your retirement fund now by doing nothing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, it's your money, and right, retirement is important because we do not want to work after 65. We should all be on a beach somewhere
Exactly. Enjoying life.
enjoying life. We should not be working on our feet.
Mm-hmm. Like no, we don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know now in this day and age, jobs are getting rid of pensions. They don't
People are
want to do
starting to
that.
learn. People are starting to learn the knowledge, and the jobs are realizing, like, wait, we probably not going to be making a lot of money off of our employees if they starting their own stuff that's not with us. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I think also it's a money saver. Like, okay,
mm-hmm,
I've worked for a union job the last 7 years now, almost eight. I worked for Coke for 6 years. I worked for Manhattan Beer for a little while, and I've been working at Nabisco almost for a year and change. All
wow,
three of these jobs have been union jobs, right?
mm-hmm,
Now, Coke wanted to get rid of the pension. They have to do it through the union. They got the contract to pass, and they took the pension out. Yeah, yeah. Now it's same thing in Nabisco. The last contract, not the one we just did, the one before.
mm-hmm,
I wasn't there. They removed the pension because they saved a bunch of money.
mm-hmm,
But what they did was they did a 401k, and all existing employees get 3% because they have the pension. All new employees get 6% because they don't have the pension.
uh-huh,
And now they didn't contribute anything to the pension. Right. So now the way it works is once they attack that pension, they get it out. They've saved millions by not having it.
mm-hmm.
What's the next thing they're going to attack? The health insurance.
Yep.
So, like now, Coke, they have found a way in the middle of a contract to make their employees pay for part of their benefits. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And with our last contract, they came after the health insurance, and we told them no. We told them no.
Yeah.
And we got what we wanted. They kept the benefits the same, because under me, I have 6 people under my insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know,
important.
my wife, myself, and four kids. So it's kind of like, how do we as people allow these jobs to have that? It's like it's different because but I worked before Coke. I worked at Pepsi for 8 years. The insurance when I was there was $1 a year. And I was thinking about going back again to Pepsi, and it was still the same thing. $1 a year, $30 copays at the doctor, which is nothing if you're paying $1.
Nothing.
Yep. So pretty much the company forwards the whole bill on the insurance,
Wow.
which is
One thing
unheard.
about these corporations, they're gonna find a loophole.
Absolutely.
They're definitely gonna find a loophole.
Absolutely. And so when you have these things and you have these things in place, these are the things people don't understand, as well. Is it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what do we do to bring attention to that as well? Because now you have to figure out what's next, you
Mm-hmm.
know Like you got guys, if you don't have 30 years in a pension like me, I'm gonna have $575 a month. I mean, yeah, it's my money, but like, what am I gonna do with that? That's even if it's still there by the time I retire.
Right.
So it's the same thing, same thing, which
Right.
which ties into credit.
Mhm.
You know, Having credit is important.
Very.
As right now, someone who's fixing theirs, what is the financial importance of having good credit and why?
In the world we live in today, credit is everything. Credit is basically like they want to know your credit score before they want to know your name. Okay? Like, listen, credit is literally no matter what you try to do, credit is involved. And that's another thing I'm glad that our generation is attacking because we are realizing the importance of it and how important it is becoming in our society. You can't even you can't live without credit. You like everything is credit based. You can't even rent an apartment now without credit. You
Mhm.
used to be able to rent an apartment just for having the money.
Yeah,
But now your credit has to be good. And it's like, are you telling me that like even if I have $50,000 in my account, I can't rent this apartment? Well, no, because your credit isn't good. And I don't always agree with it, but I guess it's a trust thing to some companies and corporations, but it's everything. But I'm glad that our generation is aiming to attack it and we're aiming to not give knowledge on each other about it. And
yeah,
one thing I did learn also, having no credit is just as bad as having bad credit.
yeah, yep, yep. Because they don't have anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, like even now, like I was, like now, like we're looking to move out of our place.
Mhm.
I'd reached out to one, and it was like, they were like, I was like, oh, I'm interested, blah blah blah, blah. And they're like, okay, how's your credit? Or no, they didn't even
Just
ask that
yeah.
way. They were like, do you have a credit score of at least 650? And I was like, no. And they're like, yeah, we're not even gonna take the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. But like you said, like you can have bad credit and have $50,000 and be making $1,500 a week. Like,
Mhm.
really gotta trust some bad credit,
They
you
don't
know,
care.
over like you see the money, like you want
Mhm.
what I bring in, and then and on top of that, sometimes they'll want the rent. The rent will be like I seen one place it was like the rent was like 2,800, and then they
Mhm.
want to bring in 3 times the rent a month, and you're like bro,
Yes.
like
Like,
yo,
I do have to eat.
literally and figuratively. Like I told my wife today, I'm like, listen, like if we gotta move out of here, we gotta buy a house or a condo or
Mhm.
something because like the more you could pay, like 1,000 to 1,500 less. Like a couple of us were talking at work. The one girl's like, my mortgage is 1,400. Like,
Mhm.
you know,
And that's
uh,
cheaper than rent.
yeah. Like obviously, she's like, there's more physical responsibility. Like you're always
Mhm.
doing stuff in the house. I'm like, I get it, but it's just
I
like,
feel like it's worth it. I
yeah,
feel like it's definitely worth it.
yeah, absolutely. So, with all these skills and all this knowledge you've obtained, what do you hope to hone with all these skills?
I hope to change lives. I hope to open people's eyes to what their future can not only look like, but how they can protect their future and how they can protect their children. how what they should be teaching their children, what we should all be teaching our children. It's very important because we this is stuff we weren't taught in school. This is stuff we should have been taught in school, but we weren't. They were too busy teaching us algebra and making sure we can pass our science exams when they should have been teaching us how a 401k works, like you said, how a Roth IRA works, how life insurance works, what expenses we need to be calculating day by day. And it did it did leave us kind of lost when we got into the real world. But I just hope to be able to teach people and just show people like this is how we can do it, y'all. Like I figured out the formula. This is how we can do it, y'all.
Absolutely. Like
So
we got it. We got it. So with all that, if you had to pick one one goal, right? Like
mhm.
with this business and this line of work that you would want to do, whether it be like open a building, whether it be help X amount of people in a year, whether it
Mhm.
be to start applying this knowledge to doing seminars around the area, around the world, what would that goal be?
I would love to do all of that. My first goal out of those are to open my own agency, and have a team full of strong individuals to help me do that and to help me spread the knowledge in word. I want it to be just as important to them as it is to me. Um, I want to be in a position to where I can give back more than I ever imagined, especially to my city. That is my goal because I've seen what my city went through. I've seen where my city was, I've seen where my city is, and I just want to be able to give back, not only to my city but to other places as well. But I'd love to start with my city. I'd love to be able to go different places and share the knowledge and share the information that I have learned over the years. Although every day I am learning something new, I never stop learning ever. I never stop learning. And I'm not the smartest person alive. I don't know everything, but I'm human and I'm learning every day. Everything that I learn, I'm sharing, and I just want to make everybody's life easier. I want to help make everybody's life easier because we all deserve it. Life isn't as hard as we think it is. That's just what we were programmed to think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you talked about somewhat about what's going on next for you, but what is next in this journey of knowledge, in this journey of just really helping people, or what is the next skill you're hoping to get knowledge on to grow your portfolio?
Workshops. I want to start doing more workshops. That is my next goal. I'm always in my laptop, mapping out presentations and figuring out like what type of people am I going to share this with, because you can't say the same things to everybody. Sometimes you have to speak differently to different people because everybody understands at a different radius, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I'm just always, that's what I've been working on. That's been my main focus now, to do more workshops and just figure out how can I get people to actually understand? How can I share my story, make it more relatable to help people know that this is important?
Mm.
So workshops is definitely my next thing. Like that's in the works now.
Okay, okay, okay. And I end every show with a positive ending message. It's a message. There was a lot of knowledge here. Or actually, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I always mess up. For anyone who wants to locate you or locate your services, what are the handles where they can find you?
So you guys can find me on Facebook. I do have a digital business card that I share with everybody. I do feel like having a digital business card is so much easier because the paper ones get lost, and we all have a story of getting a business card and losing it. So I do share my digital business card. I am more active when it comes to financial advisor on Facebook, but my personal information is always on my business card. So I'll actually put that in my bio. I do have a website as well, which is on my business card. So all of that information is on my digital business card. So I do try to share that as much as often. But I do have to find somewhere. I might pin it on the top of my Facebook just because like that's where my main, that's where everybody reaches me at, seriously.
Absolutely, absolutely. You gotta be accessible. You
Mhm.
know, especially for things like this. This is important. So, as I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself, I end every episode with a positive ending message. It's something uplifting and positive and forthcoming from you to the audience, whoever's watching or watched this back. The floor is yours.
So I'm going to start with I do appreciate all of the engagement that I receive on my Facebook. Everything that I say is from the heart. And what I'm going to say now will also be from the heart. No goal is too big for anybody. There's times where I sit back and I think about my goals and then I'm like, how am I going to achieve this? But then I actually sit back and I think about it, and ways come to how I can achieve it. So, no matter what your goals are, no matter what you want to do, just know it can be done. Um, no matter who you pray to, just know, just pray, and you're going to get your answers, whether it's in your dreams, whether you're just sitting there and a thought dawns on you. Know that it's meant for you to do. Following your steps, and just continue to do what you do. Everybody's here for a purpose, so live in your purpose.
Damn, you said the word purpose. Now I gotta tell you the story. So much for ending the show there. Because now I gotta tell you the story.
I'm
Um,
listening.
you know many I've told this story. The basis for this show was, I had a friend, very close friend, more like a brother, pass away in 2020, Naj Murph,
Mhm.
and you know, years ago, I want to say, 2012 always sticks in my head. I don't know why. I don't think that's the right year, but that's the year I end up going with. Is I remember when Facebook started becoming a thing. MySpace was phasing out, and
Mhm.
I posted a status saying that I wanted to commit suicide, and I've left it up there like 30 seconds, and I deleted it. I'm like, nah, I don't want to bring that kind of attention.
Mhm.
So then, he calls me, and I'm like, yo, and he's like, yo, I seen that status. Try to play it off. I said, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. You didn't see nothing. He's like, Mike, don't play me, bro. I seen that.
Mhm.
And he's like, listen, he goes, you're not allowed to take your life. He goes, until because you haven't fulfilled your purpose.
Mhm.
So he goes, I don't know what that is. You may not know what that is. You might find it in 5 years. You might find it tomorrow. You might find it next month. You may find it in 5 years. You may find it in 10 years. And I would have never thought that about 10 years after he said that, he died. And it just really just put a kind of just a burden, in a sense, that I hadn't done it yet. I hadn't found it. So it was important to me to find it. It's very difficult this time of year because his birthday is Christmas Eve,
Wow.
and the anniversary of his death is January 7th. Um, and it's 5 years this year. And, sometimes it just really hurts that he's not here to see it. Unfortunately, I play devil's advocate and believe if he didn't die, I wouldn't have done it.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where it's like, damn, like, it's just like, it sucks.
Mhm.
So every time that word purpose comes up, it's everything to me because it's the word that really saved my life.
And you're living in it. Trust me. You're doing great, Mike. You're
I
really
appreciate
doing great. Keep going. Everything that you're doing is for a reason. There's a reason for everything, and every step that you take, there's a reason behind it, and it's going to get you further.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. You're doing great too.
Thank
We're
you.
we're doing it all. Well, I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you for having me.
I love you. You
Love
are
you
amazing.
too.
We've never met in person. We got to change
Mhm.
that.
We
We
definitely
got,
will.
we got
2025. I told you there's a lot coming. 2025.
it happen. We're making it happen. You have a good
Yes.
night. I want to
You
thank
too.
everyone who tuned in. I'll be back Thursday with Casey Wood, sneaker teacher. We're going to talk about the sneaker business, him chopping it up with Charlie Clips, and the growth and how that he has a team to deliver his sneakers. Everyone have a good night, and we'll see you on
Good
the
night,
flip side.
y'all.
Peace.